Hey everyone, this is Rachel Graham. I'm coming to you from the rooftop patio. It's a beautiful Sunday. The sun is setting quickly, so I want to get this in before it's, not out. I'm at 22 weeks today. Super exciting. Baby is the size of a red bell pepper. He is 1 whole pound, which is crazy mind-blowing. I'm scared that my phone's gonna blow off of this thing because it's kind of windy up here. He's 11 inches long. That's according to the app, so he's probably 13 inches long because he was 2 inches bigger than he was supposed to be 2 weeks ago. So that's pretty crazy. I've only got 18 weeks to go, which seems absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, that's not a lot of time, but I'm ready for it. I'm here for it, or so I think. I have no choice, so that's kind of what it comes down to. So what about the baby this week? So the baby can perceive light and dark, which is pretty cool, because today I was actually sitting out in the sun and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if the baby can feel that it's he's out in the sun right now. And he can definitely perceive that there was light coming in. And then when I would go inside the house, that it was dark. So that's pretty cool and pretty fascinating to think that I don't know, he can just perceive those things already. Where are we here? In the next 5 weeks, so this is not exactly a 22-week update, these details that I'm just going to go over, but this is kind of saying in the next 5 weeks there's going to be a big growth spurt. So I feel like I wanted to just touch on this because I use this one app, but then sometimes I look at this other one, and the other one sometimes has different information. And so the other app talked about this. So in the next 5 weeks he's going to undergo a really big growth spurt. His cerebrum, where memory, motor skills, and intellect is developed, is preparing to be able to conduct communication between cells. So that is pretty cool. So even at this stage, it's that through every stage of pregnancy, it's really important to eat super healthy and exercise and stay hydrated and do all the right things, because you're building a new human being inside of you. But when you get down to specifics, the cerebrum is undergoing development in this next chunk of time. It's pretty crazy to think about that, Also, rapid eye movement has started during his sleep. So he has REM sleep. His skin is gaining pigment, and that lanugo, that hair on his body, is starting to darken. So although his organs and his bones and whatnot are still visible through his translucent skin, that skin is starting to darken. So that's pretty cool. He still doesn't really have much fat on his body, so he's still a tiny little baby, but the fat will be coming. And the uterus is now 1.5 inches above my belly button, and I can definitely tell. So one of the things they had mentioned for this week update was about whether or not your belly button would be poking out, and I guess a lot of people at this point in time, their belly button would pop out. My belly button is definitely not, I don't think, gonna pop out at all. If anything, it might just be flat. I had a super deep belly button. I'm talking about, I swear to God, this deep. And it's funny because you know how some people get lint in their belly button? That never happened to me, and I think just because it was so deep that no lint could have gotten trapped in there. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now it's super shallow. Whoa, that wasn't even in the camera. So now it's about this deep, so about half the depth. So that's pretty neat. I don't have any of the symptoms that the app's reporting, which are basically the same as it's been, restless legs, there was one symptom that's reddening on the palms and red patches on the skin. I don't have anything like that, so still doing super awesome in terms of the regular symptoms. Don't really have. My back pain is actually really subsided, which is, I haven't really been doing anything different than maybe my new workout program, Lift 4, and the weight training that I've been doing, but I've literally only been doing it a week. So I had done 21 Day Fix for 3 weeks, and now I'm on to Lift 4, which is definitely heavier weight and more targeted HIIT session style cardio versus the 21-day fixed style cardio. So who knows, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe I'm sleeping better, like in a better position, I'm not sure. Speaking of sleeping, I still haven't ordered a pregnancy pillow, but I really have to do that. I can just really tell, like when I prop pillows up under my belly and sort of behind my back and sort of cocoon myself in, I feel much more comfortable. And so a pregnancy pillow would just eliminate the need for like 6 different pillows, and they fall off the bed and it's just a little chaotic. But sleep has been otherwise pretty dang good. So basically that's it in terms of the baby updates and the me updates. I'm doing awesome. Had a really, really great relaxing weekend. I know it's not really politically correct to talk about seeing friends right now, but I saw some friends. We hung out with a couple yesterday and then also this afternoon, and just one other couple. We didn't get too close. Mental health wise, like I really needed to have that, and it really made me feel really good, and I don't regret it. I don't care. But yeah, so we had a really great weekend, awesome like weather. I woke up this morning feeling super, just like, I don't know what the word is, like happy, like really happy though, like very in touch, very like centered, aligned. You know, there's this book that I read once, and it talked about source energy, and it talks about like when you're feeling like anxiety or depression, or just like you're not feeling good, you don't feel happy, there's just like a disconnect, like that you're out of alignment. And they talked about when you are in alignment, it's called source energy. Like you're in alignment with your source energy. And that's really how I felt today when I woke up this morning. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. and got up and had coffee and journaled for a long time and sat on my balcony and just like really felt all that goodness and really felt that good positive vibration. And it was really, really, really awesome. So I wanted to briefly talk a little bit about our plans to do a natural childbirth. So this is very interesting. It's interesting to me, especially because, you know, I was like coming from a place of like didn't even think I was gonna have a baby, and I think that when I had maybe thought about having a baby, it was like, give me all the drugs, hook me up to the goddamn epidural, and I'll be good. And now that I'm actually pregnant and in this space and like thinking about it and researching it and, you know, reading books about it and talking to other women, and I'm in a bunch of different mom groups on Facebook, like, you know, pregnancy groups or women that are having natural births. And I read this book by Ina May Gaskin, and that was what really like opened up my eyes to like the midwifery kind of model of care. And it's like, yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. I'm also I'm going to college taking anatomy and physiology, and I'm in my 2nd semester of that as a prerequisite for the nursing program. And so learning about the kind of complexity of the human body, and we haven't even gotten to the reproductive portion of the course. That's actually like gonna happen in the next week or so. So that'll be really interesting. It's like fascinating to me. Like my last topic in my last class of my entire 3 semesters of prereqs has to do with pregnancy, and I'm pregnant, so that's pretty cool. So in learning about, you know, the science, and then also seeing it on this like holistic end, in this like natural community, it just really makes sense to me to have a natural birth. I'm definitely, I don't know if I have a high threshold for pain. I don't think I do. I'm like averse to pain, which I think most people are. Some people aren't, I guess. And so it's like, it's kind of strange to me that like, I don't know, that I want to do that, but it's because I've done a lot of reading and I've done a lot of research, and I feel like the body is just meant to do that, you know, like you have this like natural hormonal cascade that occurs, and it, you know, really doesn't need to be fucked with. Like, you really don't need to have an epidural and to be given synthetic pain relief, because your body, your brain actually has a slow drip of hormone to help you with each stage. And it's like, it's literally, it's not just one hormone, it's like a cascade. Like, everything happens in your body the way it's supposed to for you to birth the baby. The baby will come out when it wants to come out, when it's ready to come out, when your body is ready for the baby to come out. And just the whole, like, I mean, I should have made a concise list about the reasons, and maybe I'll do that, but just like the interventions that the hospital typically does, it's just, I don't really feel it's necessary for me. But having said that, I know that everybody comes to it in their own way, and that for some people having a natural birth is just not right for them. And one of my friends actually said, because she wants a C-section. Sorry, my phone keeps like threatening to blow off here. And I just was like, why? Like, why would you want to have somebody cut open your abdominals, your midsection, to remove the baby when there's a portal that the baby can come out of? And, you know, she basically just said, I'm not empowered by natural birth. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, like, that was probably the best answer that she could have given me, because it's like, A, it's not really, doesn't really matter. It's not really any of my business, but we're good friends. So it's like, you know, when you're good friends with someone, you can be like, what up? Like, why would you actually want to do that? You know, that's like super, like, the recovery on that is way longer in most cases than a vaginal birth. And that was her answer. She's not empowered by natural birth. So it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, if it doesn't empower you, that's like saying, like, I'm super passionate about making YouTube videos and sharing content online, and then coming across a person that's like, oh, like, I actually don't like being on video, and me being like, why? It's so cathartic, it's so fun, it's so rewarding, it's so great, I love it. They don't like being on video. Like, I can't understand that, because I like being on video. It's just literally the same thing. And for some reason, on both sides of the fence, you know, when you say you want to have a natural birth, you get people that are like, why would you do that? Like, trust me, you're going to need an epidural. And like, why would you not take the drugs? Like, modern medicine is here to give us the drugs. Like, why wouldn't you take the drugs? Why would you want to experience that pain? Like, if you don't have to, it doesn't make sense. So I think it's just like, agree to disagree. Like, cool, you do you. You do you, boo-boo. That's it. It's getting a little dry. I spent the last couple of days out in the sun. You can't tell because it's like shining directly on me, but I actually have a bit of a tan, a bit of a burn that will turn into a tan. So that's exciting. So yeah, I'm going to have a home water birth, natural water birth. And I'm so excited, you guys. Like, I don't know. I'm just really excited. I love the water. I have loved the water since I was a tiny little baby. And I grew up swimming at the lake every summer of my life. And I just have a super deep connection with water. I love it. I've always felt safe in it. So the idea of like being in a situation where, you know, I'm having a baby, it's going to be very intense and transformative. There isn't a place I'd rather do it than in the water. Like, I feel safe in the water. There's no way to describe it. Like, the idea of having a baby like on land, like in the air with like people looking at me and like lights and having like monitors hooked up to me in a sterile hospital room with like a bed that has like plastic rails, like, no. I feel like my body would literally like cinch up and I wouldn't be able to progress naturally. And I think that that's a big part of why I really want to have a home birth, is because just the setting of the hospital and just the way it is. And I know that they've really, there's a lot of people that have had natural births in the hospital. That's totally a thing. But I think for me personally, just like literally the setting. like just being in the hospital. Like hospitals smell a certain way. There's certain types of lighting. There's certain colors. There's certain art. There's certain, you know, like I said, the beds are the way they are. It's not like you can bring in your own king-size bed into the hospital room, have the baby. So there's elements of it. As homey as they have made the birthing suites, they will never be unlike a hospital. Just is what it is. And there's actually no birthing center that I can find in Madison. That would have been a really good option. So yeah, home birth is the right thing for me. And then the water birth, as I said, I feel really safe in the water. The water temperature in the birthing pool is the same temperature as your body. So that's really cool. So you're just like very relaxed. I've watched a ton of YouTube videos of live home births in the water, and it's what's right for me, 100%. And there's stories that you watch where they want to have a home birth and it doesn't end up happening for whatever reason. They just like are laboring in the bathroom and that's where they end up having the baby, or it ends up happening on the floor, or they have to be transferred to the hospital. So of course there's all these variables, and I'm like not going to be like 100% dead set on this, because I know that anything is possible. Even with a super healthy pregnancy, normal everything, things can still take a turn. So I'm not ignorant to that fact, and that's the great thing about opting to do a home birth with a midwife and a doula. You have that support at home, but if you need to be transferred to the hospital, easy peasy, like you can be transferred, it's no big deal. There's like a million hospitals around here. I'm not worried. So that's sort of that. Speaking of the midwife and the doula, so with a home birth, you can do a free birth or an unassisted birth where you are just with your family, or you can have a midwife and a doula, either or whatever. I really like the idea of having a midwife and a doula. The midwife because they've attended a ton of births, and it's just like this really cool old tradition. And I really like the idea of having a midwife deliver the baby versus a doctor, and I did from the beginning. And even when I planned to have my hospital birth, I still had a team of midwives, and I still actually technically do. So tomorrow morning, I have a Facetime meeting with the midwife. And I've chosen her based on a friend's recommendation. She had her as her midwife, and she said she was absolutely amazing. She also recommended to me the doula service that I'm going to be using. And through the doula service, I actually registered for an online birthing class. So it's a 6-week class on Wednesday evenings. And there's a whole bunch of different modules, and it goes from the very beginning, like talking about, you know, myths and preconceptions about birth, all the way through the 4th trimester, and like tips on how to care for a newborn and breastfeeding tips and all that stuff. So it hits like everything, like the whole process. So I'm really excited about that. And with that class, you know, the 2 women that teach it are doulas, and one of them hopefully will be my doula. So I still haven't 100% solidified that relationship, but I think she knows that that's something that I'd like to do. Just we had one FaceTime and it was really great, or one regular call. But yeah, as of tomorrow, I'll be talking to the midwife. There was just some like insurance stuff that we had to kind of like go over and make sure that my insurance actually covered a midwife. So I don't know what it is in different states, but here in Wisconsin, my insurance, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield, covers a certified nurse midwife, a CNM. They do not cover certified professional midwives, or CPMs, and a lot of midwives have a CPM certification or designation. So it's kind of confusing because they sound almost the same, and even in writing emails, I've written the wrong one. And even though I intentionally am trying to say the right one, so really weird. The certified nurse midwives just have more training. I'm not sure exactly how much more training they have, but in any event, that's what my insurance covers. So the midwife that I'm working with, she has like a third party kind of operation, I guess, where they sort of double, triple check my insurance and and kind of like let us know exactly where I'm gonna stand, whether it's gonna be 100% covered or less. Ooh, sneeze. Ooh, pardon me. So, that's kind of that. Natural home water birth, midwife and doula, birthing classes starting this Wednesday. I've talked about the baby's development and potential symptoms and things I've been dealing with. In terms of my weight, I'm not sure what it is. As of 2 weeks ago, I gained 9 pounds so far in the pregnancy. So the goal is 25, no more. I think that I'm gonna be within that 25-pound gain, which is great. In terms of like the supplies and stuff that I'm gonna need for the home water birth, I will definitely do a video on that once I have all those supplies. So we're still a little bit early yet. You know, I still have 4 months left, so I don't need to start acquiring that stuff yet. But I will need like a liner for the birthing pool. The midwife does have her own birthing pool, but you have to supply the obviously the sterile one-time use liner to go inside of it. And then you also need to supply the tube that fills the tub and then drains the tub, and it needs to be a certain grade of like materials. So that's a thing that I'll have to purchase. And then typically the midwife or the doula will recommend a kit for the home birth that you purchase that has like all of the things that you might need. So once I get all those supplies, I will definitely make a video. I probably will get everything like 2 months before the birth, just because like I just want to set everything up in my house, have it all organized. I want to blow up the tub and like sit in it and just feel it out and do some visualization and really just like imagine how everything's gonna go down. I just really want it to be like, I don't know, like a sacred space. That's what I really want, you know, like the way that you feel when you go into a beautiful yoga studio and, you know, they have like, there's not usually candles in a public yoga studio, but like, let's say if you do your own home practice and you burn some candles, you burn some incense, you've got, you know, your favorite music playing, the lighting is set just right, you have, you know, your favorite, you know, whether it's just like a bottle of water, maybe you had some green tea, whatever it is, that is like the environment that I want to create for my birth, to just set the tone. And I don't know, I want to like welcome this little baby into like the most, I don't know, I guess like my version of like a utopia. That's what I want the baby's first like breath of air to be in, is like a space like that. And it sounds like super, like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. Like when you say it out loud, it's kind of like, oh, like I hear myself say that and I'm like, that's very like not like what I thought I would be like, but it is. And it's really cool to sort of have this evolution and just kind of grow with it, right? I just think it's really magical, and it's really cool to have the opportunity to, so this is what I think. So I think my hair is just really doing weird things. I think that this is something that I would have always wanted, but I would have been afraid to assert that. That's what this is, okay? That's why I can't find the right words, because it isn't that I was, you know, probably never this person and I kind of like, in my weird like crunchy kind of like au naturel like hippie mom, like I'm not a hippie. I've never like identified with that, but I think that's just like this weird stereotype of like, oh, if you believe in home birth, you're like, you probably don't believe in vaccinations and science, and you are probably like, you know what I mean, there's all these like weird stereotypes, and you know, obviously I have those, and so I think the main thing is, like I said, like acknowledging like these are things that I would like, and having the confidence to say this is what I'm going to do for myself. And even just like with the home birth in general, like deciding that I am going to have a home birth. I don't want to have a baby in the hospital. And I'm going to have people that are going to be like, well, why not? Like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to go to the hospital? And, you know, maybe a younger version of me would have been like, yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe I don't. Like, maybe I don't really know. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And, like, kind of like second guessing myself and, like, giving away my power. But I think that this experience, it's really interesting because I feel very like I'm owning it. Like, this is what I want to do. Sean supports me. If Sean didn't support it, that might be a little weird, because it's like, oh, like, I'm feeling all sorts of ways about this and I want it to be a certain way. And if he doesn't like that, like, if he was like, no, we're having a hospital birth, that might be really hard. Like, you know, if someone had to deal with that, like, from a spouse. Luckily, I don't have to deal with that. He's super supportive. He's like, whatever's going to make you feel more comfortable. Like, whatever you want to do, let's do that. So that's really great. So, yeah. So it's just really great, you know. And I'm really excited. And this video is, like, really long, so I apologize. As for my nutrition and exercise, like I said, I'm doing Lift 4. So it's, like, a very weight-focused program, and then they've got, like, HIIT training, which I really, really enjoy. So you do, like, 3 sets, you know, of weights, whether it's 3 different movements, you know, say it's like a curl, you know, like a press, and then maybe like a situation like this, and then you would go into the HIIT component. So it would be like, you know, high knees, and then like mountain climbers, and then like burpees, and you just do 3 sets, and then you go back to the weights. Or you do just all the weights and then all the HIIT. That's actually more what it is. So, but he switches it up, so it's really dynamic and it changes, which is exciting. You don't get used to it or bored of it. So that's what I've been doing for workouts, and I'd like to incorporate actually doing a weekly yoga practice at least once a week, because I really, really like the way that my brain feels, and like I feel spiritually aligned when I'm doing yoga, and I don't feel that from weight training or cardio or any other type of exercise other than yoga. So definitely want to get into doing that again. As for my diet, I'm still doing a ketogenic low carb diet. I'm still drinking my ketones every single day, my exogenous ketone supplement, and taking electrolytes. I actually ordered a new electrolyte supplement that actually the company that makes the ketones, which is called Prove It, they make a powdered electrolyte supplement that you could actually add into your ketones. So I'm going to try that out. It was 22% off, so I thought, why not give it a shot? We've been using Trace Elements, like solid pill electrolytes, for, you know, a long time, and they're fine, but they're really big horse pills, and I don't know, it would just be nice to be able to add it right to the drink. So I'm going to try that out, and I will definitely give you my feedback on that. And then, of course, I'm still taking my Ritual prenatal vitamin. So what else? That's about it. I finally got some of the, like, Palmer's coconut belly lotion for stretch marks. I don't have any stretch marks yet. Cross my fingers that I don't get any, but honestly, I don't really care, because my body's changing to grow a human, so a couple of lines aren't really scary to me. If anything, I really like animal print, so it's like, okay, maybe I'll look more like a animal. Like, have a little permanent animal print on me. In terms of, like, stretch marks leading up to this point, I only have a few, and they're, like, on my, like, upper thighs, and they're really old, so they're, like, light, like white. And they just never really bothered me. Maybe it would be different if I had really dark ones and had them on really obvious areas, but yeah, not too worried about stretch marks. But I don't want to say that now and then not use any lotions, and then in like 4 months be like, why didn't you use a lotion, you idiot? You said you didn't care about stretch marks, and now you have a million of them, so get your shit together. So anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit like, please subscribe. I will put some links below if you're interested in learning more about exogenous ketones, the electrolyte supplement I mentioned. If you want any kind of tips and tricks on eating like a low carb ketogenic lifestyle or diet, then definitely hit me up. But the ketogenic diet is not a prerequisite for using ketones, so that's really an important part. I've just chosen to stay to a low carb regime because it makes me feel better. But that's not to say it's for you. But I encourage everyone to just experiment with different foods and see what works, because I've tried a whole lot of things, and just that lower carb, you know, reducing the amount of sugar you're eating, just like whole foods is a really good approach for me. So yeah, that's all I have for you. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. It's nearing the end of it now. The sun is setting. Let's see if we can see it. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys next week.